I always hate when you can tell a company doesn't use their gear. Even more so if they claim superior design in their marketing material. There's a certain camera manufacturer with design in their name that's an egregious example. There are many such cases in the climbing and outdoor gear world. I have hundreds of hard sessions in on these grippers. Here is a pile of working prototypes that I've trained on in just over the last month or so. This week alone, I've spent 40 hours in CAD making countless small refinements to the design. I wish Fusion 360 was a Steam game that logged my hours. I'm easily over 1,000 hours of modeling these devices. People have expressed concerns over copycats. They certainly will try. If they understood any of the design principles, they would have already invented the hand of God. By comparison, I just put 40 hours of design work in just this week, starting from a model that was already the best gripper in the world. The level of refinement here is underestimated. I have in my hands the most refined and beautiful Hand of God grippers yet. The end result is crazy good, even by my obsessive standards. The Hand of God is not just another grip tool. It's a complete training system that can take you from V2 all the way to V20. It targets the primary finger flexors involved in climbing using the 3 core principles from the Grip Gain series: optimum stimulation, maximum ergonomics, and minimize overlap. There is no better training tool to achieve these goals. The ergonomics in the Hand of God grippers are incomparable. For example, heavy crusher sets for FDS. This is 150 pounds, full body weight lift, no warm up, no concerns. It's impossible that I get a pulley injury here. They are fully supported by the rollers. You can go hard and heavy with infinite volume. The pulleys are completely supported. That is a game changer for heavy training on the FDS tendon. The Micro, on the other hand, places each phalanx of each finger in the perfectly ergonomic gripping position. It actually resolves capsulitis and pulley injuries, which are the scourge of small hold training. Recovery is literally built into the training. People are as excited by the rehab potential as its training use. Ben, Jen, and myself have all resolved long-standing finger issues by using the Micro. Nothing else even comes close in terms of optimal stimulation and minimizing training overlap. The force vector is placed in the optimal position for your individual hand anatomy. These grippers don't just vary hold size. They consider actual hand morphology and place the force vector in the exact best spot. Friction edges simply cannot do this. With a friction edge, it's impossible to move the force off of the fingertips. No matter the edge size, you'll only ever train the dominant flexor if you are already out of balance. As important as these principles are, they are equally matched by friction-free training. In the Grip Gain series, the goal was educational content that people could apply right away in their own training. So I focused mainly on options that were readily available to the masses. They all rely on friction. However, friction-based training is extremely problematic. Excessive pain, impaired skin recovery, and suboptimal training from passive effort. Friction-free is as revolutionary as maximal ergonomics and optimal stimulation. Active gripping is built into these grippers. They simply cannot be passively held. If I am unable to maintain joint angle, the gripper releases from my hand. The Hand of God grippers earned their name. The human hand is the most complex anatomical structure in the human body. Every aspect of this product design mirrors that complexity. 10 years of development, hundreds of prototypes, and over 1,000 design hours, and the whole process was overseen by a specialist hand surgeon. I spent 10 years chasing this dream. When we started training in 2012, the information space was very poor and I hadn't completed my medical training. We did some wacky things. But even back then, you can see early efforts at gripper innovation. When I completed medical residency in 2014 and moved for work, I lost all access to climbing. The only climbing I had was a clandestine moonboard set up inside of a storage locker. This is where gripper development began in earnest. I chased the dragon of isotonic grip training for 5 years. Ben calls it the Cambrian explosion of gripper machines. I eventually admitted defeat in the isotonic gripper development, but hangboards were so obviously and deeply flawed. I remember visiting a commercial gym in San Francisco and being so amused by their selection of hangboards that I decided to take a photo. They had more hangboards on display than muscles in the human forearm, which is obviously nonsense from a training principle standpoint. In my goal to redesign isometric training, the first problem I set about solving was friction. This was easy. A rotating bar was used instead of a flat edge. This was a major improvement in active gripping. But after a year of hard training, I was getting finger tweaks from my varying finger lengths. That's when I set about developing the Hand of God series of grippers. Hundreds and hundreds of prototypes later, I had the Hand of God gripper. I happily trained on this with a few friends and saw incredible results. The Grip Gain series was filmed on a whim one day while I was out camping with my wife near the boulders. The Hand of God was featured incidentally because that's what I personally use. I downplayed the grippers because I wanted to keep the focus on the principles. I never intended to sell this product. Each one took almost a day to produce and it wasn't economically viable at the time. A climber from Denmark named Philip reached out via email. We went back and forth for several weeks. Philip persevered and eventually got a gripper. 2 weeks later, I received this email. Having had the chance to test the Hand of God device, I wanted to say how impressed I am with its design and effectiveness. Your innovation provides a truly unique and valuable solution for climbers, and I believe it has the potential to make a significant impact on the climbing community worldwide. I'd like to share a business proposal that could help expand its reach, enabling climbers globally to access custom hand-of-made God devices to optimize their training. My goal is to combine your expertise with my experience in scaling business, ensuring that this innovative tool reaches its full potential. Philip's proposal resonated with me. It was a gut feeling, and so I went with it. He excels in all of the areas that I have no experience or interest. It's a perfect partnership, and it has been truly instrumental in getting to this point. A big thank you to everybody who has purchased a prototype gripper. Feedback has helped refine the design, and some early sales proved demand and helped offset the significant development costs. Another big thank you to everyone watching this video. I never wanted to make grippers. I wanted to send my projects. The training was so effective that all of my projects have been sent. Now I explore for new boulders, and it feels like there is no limit going forward. Some small housekeeping items. There's a section when you order for custom inscriptions on the grippers. Otherwise, we will just use your full name. 10% off is the standard discount applied to your entire order if you pick up both grippers. And finally, a massive thank you to everybody who orders a gripper. This is a training system that you can use and progress with for the rest of your life. This is the endgame gripper that will allow you to max level your character.